Thank you, Femi. Buenas tardes, amigas y amigos. Si les parece, conversamos en español, porque entonces estoy absolutamente seguro que todas y todos van a estar despiertos. Pura vida. Muchas gracias. I see you've been in Costa Rica. Thank you so much. Let me begin by thanking Gunilde for convening us for this third time around and for exemplary leadership in this field. Ladies and gentlemen, amigas y amigos, the last session was about business following the money, and this session is about the innovators. So let me try to bridge that and share with you a story of innovation making good business sense out of something that is absolutely crucial to food production, whether it is in Samoa, as we heard this morning, homegrown, wherever it is, which is energy, and which we need a lot of in this world that is starving for energy all of the time, and where we really have to lower our costs and carbon emissions. So, the carbon war room. Back in 2009, Sir Richard Branson arrived at a conclusion which I have never heard so succinctly put as in Gunilde's opening statement this morning, when she said, we cannot rely on top-down, and we don't have time to wait for bottom-up. We have to come around the table to be able to solve our challenges. And so Richard, thinking about the direction of the world and carbon emissions and what that means, decided to see what he, as an entrepreneur, could do about it. What they came up with, because they drafted me later, was the Carbon War Room, with a very succinct mission. Identify sectors of the global economy where we can reduce carbon emissions at gigaton scale, because scale is important to solve the challenge in a profitable way. If we don't make the linkage between good economics and good environment, we don't attract the resources, the capital, the entrepreneurship, and the spirit to drive the revolution towards decarbonizing our economies in a deep way. Carbon War Room is therefore a nonprofit which is all about profit. How do we reinvent business models, and how do we create new opportunities for jobs and investments out of reducing cost and carbon emissions? So we started looking around at global industries, many of which are related up and down the value chain to agricultural production. Today, we have launched operations in global shipping, with respect to island nations, trucking, biofuels for aviation, and not least, energy efficiency in buildings, where there still is a tremendous amount that can be done around the world. So let me share with you some examples of what this means. Take shipping. 50,000 ships out there are sailing the world's oceans, many of them transporting agricultural products back and forward. You take the combined carbon emissions of these ships, and they are equivalent of an economy between the size of Japan and Germany. That size of carbon emissions. Now, these ships have to go up on a dry dock every 5 years. If you take advantage of that opportunity to invest another $1 million or $2 million per ship, when the ship rolls off the dry dock, it's created more jobs, new opportunities for tech companies, but you've also incorporated into the retrofitting of the fit a group of between 6 to 8 technologies that decreases carbon emissions by 15 to 20% by a fuel reduction and much more efficient transportation. So just changing the paint, something so easy as changing the paint for new elastic paints on the hull of the ship will reduce the coefficient of drag by between 4 to 6%. If you put the suite of these technologies on, you are reducing about 20%, and the payback is less than 36 months. In this economy, and in any economy, a payback of 36 months is certainly worthwhile doing. Take island nations, and I'm delighted to see GEF represented in the room that has been working with us on island nations. Island nations have some of the highest cost per kilowatt hour energy in the world. Listening to the Prime Minister of Samoa here this morning, trying to break through to produce more on his island, and I was thinking, what is the energy cost of production in Samoa? How do we help them be much more competitive? Energy costs are between 35 cents US per kilowatt hour and 67 cents. At those prices, any renewable with today's technologies is a good business opportunity. So we're taking islands off fossil fuels and on to renewables within the Caribbean. 12 islands we're working on right now to take them between 70 and 100% off fossil fuels. And at the same time, we are now beginning to scope work to be able to move into the South Pacific next year. But islands don't necessarily have to be surrounded by water, which is something that we have found out at the Carbon War Room. So take mines in remote areas of the world that are trucking in fossil fuels, creating carbon emissions, when that can today be done with decentralized solar, as we already have 3 mines in South Africa, dramatically reducing the cost, increasing well-being, and helping those communities around mines that buy energy from these mines. Work in Rwanda, very much on the same philosophy. An island does not have to be surrounded by water. What can we do here in terms of lowering their energy costs? Look at transportation. 3.5 million tractor trailers only in the US with an average gas mileage of 5 to 6 miles per gallon. Ridiculous. Many of them transporting agricultural products. There are more than 70 technologies today, off the shelf, proven, that can dramatically increase your efficiency between 20 to 25%, which is a cost reduction, a job creating opportunity, and a carbon emission reduction at the same time. So, because we want to scale up in order of achieving impact, and speakers here have mentioned this morning, I believe it was Johan, the window of opportunity in which we have to operate, we decided to team up with the Rocky Mountain Institute, a larger organization than ourselves, put our egos in the corner, in the closet, and hook up in terms of being able to scale up with a lot more potential, a lot more faster than we would have been able to do so if we had grown exogenally. That is very much what I believe the EAT Foundation has done in the way that over 3 years, a very short period of time, it has joined forces with other foundations to be able to scamp up and ramp up the work. Today, Carbon War Room and Rocky Mountain Institute are working, for example, in China. A team of over 40 people over there, working for over a year, inputting into the 13th 5-year plan, which just began this year, as you well know. A lot of different evolutionary concepts with respect to energy efficiency and how to bring energy costs down at the same time that you reduce carbon emissions in that country. China last year installed more solar than the rest of the world together. The US installed last year more solar than in all of the 15 years prior to last year. This is an ongoing revolution, and we are winning. We are going to deep decarbonize this economy and this world. Ending note, this is all about leadership, amigas, amigos. Every one of you is an agent of change. The fact that we sit here means that we have been privileged in our lives, living where we have lived, having the educational opportunities that have had, being able to contribute to society from our different workplaces. We cannot go back from here and do business as usual. Las cosas necesitan seguir cambiando, amigas y amigos. And I look forward to all of you as agents of change to push this revolution hard, faster, together. Muchísimas gracias.